Welcome you all on my behalf also into this session as we commence our panel discussion. Among the various points made by Yuri, I think he has brought a few things closer. I think one is he squarely placed India at the center of SDGs, saying what China was to MDGs is what India is to SDGs. So he brought it really closer home. He also brought closer home in terms of what it means for business, with a large number of stakeholders present in this room being from the business community. And third is that he also talked about getting all the stakeholders closer to achieve something in terms of obviously the how do you work with governments and how do you work with other stakeholders in terms of academics and civil society organizations and so on. Taking a cue from there, let me build on and underscore three other dimensions of SDGs. One is that SDGs are broader when we are taking and passing the baton from MDGs. Broader in the sense that if MDGs recognized what needs to be done and achieved, one of the areas that we are moving on into SDGs is that the MDGs have not covered the root causes sufficiently for some of these problems, nor was it holistic in terms of its development frame or sustainability frame. I think that's what SDGs cover by adding on things like the economic growth and the productivity, employment and industrialization, innovation and some of these other dimensions. The second dimension in addition to breadth is the depth aspect, which both Martin and Yuri covered in terms of the 17 are further taken down to 169 targets and 304 indicators and so on. So while we always had measures also for MDGs, I think this level of depth is going to really add that flesh to the bones, as has been said by Martin. I think that is something which is we need to keep in mind. The third is the dimension of getting farther. I think in MDGs, we actually decided that in 15 years, starting 2000, in most of the metrics, we said we'll get halfway there. And in doing so, and where we have achieved, where we have partly achieved, we pretty much exhausted what we can call as low-hanging fruits. So now this has to take it much farther to achieve. In most cases, the metrics are full where we want to get there, or zero where we don't want something. So I think that is the other dimension. So besides being closer home from many different perspectives, I think we need to keep those things of being broader, deeper and farther in this whole set of SDGs now that we have. With the diverse panel that we have, we will try and examine how do we really translate what it means, and also there's a fair amount of criticism already on SDGs even before they are adopted, that much of this doesn't make sense, it is too much, too complex and so on. So I think we will probably hear the multiple dimensions in our conversation just now. So to begin the panel, I will request George Verghese, who is the President of Development Alternatives Group. The reason I am starting with him is that the Development Alternatives Group is one of the 10 founding institutional members of the Independent Research Forum, which actively facilitated the run-up to the SDGs. So it's not just a ringside view, but inside the ring view that hopefully he'll bring. And they also did a report on what it means for the South Asian region, focusing a lot more. So I think with this kind of a background, which I request him to paint a little bit on the SDGs, as well as talk about therefore what the imperatives are from all this perspective and what are the challenges in actually implementing and translating this into action to kick off the discussion. George.